Namaste and welcome back. So in this video, we'll talk about how to perform RAG on an Excel sheet. So we know what RAG is, right? So Retrieval Augmented Generation. So in Retrieval Augmented Generation, we give additional data to the LLM, and LLM then generates based on that data, and and doesn't use its own knowledge. So how do we do it? Let's quickly recap it. In RAG, we have some documents like PDF. We first load those documents, then we split those documents into multiple chunks, and then embed, we create embeddings out of those chunks, and then we store these embeddings in a vector store. Now, whenever we get a user query, we do a semantic search and retrieve the relevant chunks, and then we pass these chunks along with the user query to the LLM, and LLM then generates the answer. So this is what we do in RAG on a normal document. But how can we do, or how can we perform a RAG on Excel sheet? How can we load that data, and how can we split that data is the question, right? So that's the only thing. So how can we do this? So for that, we'll be using LlamaParse. So we'll be using LlamaParse to parse the data, to parse the Excel sheet, basically to load the data, to read the data, and we'll use GPT4-o-mini as an LLM. So first, let's install Llama Index and LlamaParse. Now let's see what all things we are importing, what all classes we are importing. So this is the main thing. If you see Markdown element node parser, so this is doing the heavy lifting. Once we parse the data, what this class will do, this will basically divide the data into multiple nodes and then index those nodes. Why we are indexing it? Because when we index that data, it is easier to retrieve the data based on the what indexing that we create. So now let's see what all things we are importing. So we are importing nest async, which is basically because LlamaParse can work asynchronously, so we'll be using that. Then we'll be importing OpenAI because we are will be using an LLM from OpenAI, which is GPT4-o-mini. Vector store index will actually store the vector embeddings that will create. Why we are importing image and markdown? We are importing image and markdown because so that we can show images and data in markdown format in the Google Colab itself. LlamaParse, I already told you, it will parse the Excel sheet, and markdown element node parser is the main thing that will create, that will divide the data into nodes and will create index. So once we have done that, we have to basically run that. So now will add OpenAPI key. You know how to use that, and we'll be creating a parser now, right? Using Llama Index API key, you can sign in and you can basically get an Llama Index API key. You get some free credits daily, so it's free. You can use it. So there is an error here. Okay, so the event loop is already running. Okay, so now that's the reason we need. I think I forgot. Yeah, so now I missed that. So let's do this. So now because it's already running, we can't do that. So now if we run that, I think this would work now. So now if you see, it has started parsing the file. So now basically it has read the data, and we can see how much data we have got. So we have got 44 documents, and now let's print that document. So this is the sheet that we have got. Now you can download that sheet from here and you can upload in this, and then once you upload, you have to give the path of that document here. So once you give it, it will parse it, and then we have this. So what exactly this data is? This data has this information. Basically, it's a financial and operating information from 2020 to 2024, right? So basically, capital expenditure, divestment, and other proceeds, surplus cash flow, quarter wise we have this data, and we'll be doing, or we'll be performing RAG on this data. So first, now we have loaded the data. Now let's create our parser using markdown element parser, where we have specified LLM equals to GPT4-o-mini and number of workers equals to 4. So basically what we'll do here now, let's create the nodes. So what we are doing, we are creating the nodes, and if you can see, we are just retrieving the first 5 nodes. But the point is, what we are doing is that markdown element node parser is what you need to know when you have to perform RAG on Excel data, because that this is the class which is actually doing the heavy lifting. This is actually creating the nodes, and this is actually indexing those nodes. So rest all is the same. So once we have done that, then it's just we will ask a query, and it will give the results, right? So now if you see, we can extract base nodes and objects, and if you see, these are base nodes, we got 6, we got 12 nodes, and actual objects we got 3. So now let's build a recursive retrieval index. So now we are storing all these nodes in vector store index. So now we have done everything. We have stored, we actually parsed the data, then we created the nodes, created the indexing, and then we have stored it in the vector database. So now everything is ready. Now let's perform RAG. So what we are saying, what is the sales and other operating revenues in 2020, right? So based on this, it should give, right? And now let's display in markdown format. So it is saying that the sales and other operating revenues in 2020 amounted to 105,944 million, right? Maybe you can check the Excel sheet and whether you can see whether the result is right or wrong. Now if you want to check, like, right, so from which node LLM has generated the answer, because in normal RAG also we can see that, what are the relevant chunks, and based on what data LLM has given the answer. Here also we can see what is the source node from which answer is generated. So now if you see and check, we basically get this. So this is the node from which it has generated the answer, right? Let's ask another question, in this we ask, like, in which years the sales and other operating revenue is greater than about 150k million dollar, which is in which years the sales is more than this amount, right? So let's ask, and let's see what it has generated. So it has generated that in year 2021 and 22, the sales and other operating revenues exceeded 150k million dollars. So this is how we can perform the RAG. So now you can, and if you see, we have the data. If you can see, like, for this is the actual data. You can see quarter wise, you can sum up the data, and then you can figure out whether the answer is right or wrong. So a very simple technique to do RAG on this thing. And we also have that, here also we can find out source node from where the answer is generated. We can run that and we'll get the answer. So a very simple technique. We just need to know a couple of classes from where we can parse the data, and then we can create the nodes, and once we do that, we can actually perform RAG on an Excel sheet. So I hope you like the video. My name is Nikil, and I teach the most up-to-date and relevant AI courses. So do check out my other videos, and if you want, you can check out our website to know more information about our courses. Hope you like the video. Thanks for watching. Thanks. Bye.